What's good? Welcome back to the channel. Chris back with another video for you guys. Today I'm on a 2012 Ram 1500. This one specifically is the 4.7 liter. Should be the same for the Hemi as well. I'm getting ready to do the rear brakes and rotors. So you're gonna need a jack. Jack stand for safety. Always use one. And let's get to it. 22 millimeter. Remove your lugs. So let's do that and proceed. But yeah, it's supposed to be, I think, 09 through 18 doing this procedure. So let's get to it. Probably got to turn this music down some. Right by the speaker. Sometimes they get stuck. For those who don't know, you like to smack your socket on the ground so you can pull them out. That one out, no problem. Let's give it some smacks. This is a heavier tire, so you want to be careful. Try not to strain your back or anything. So I'm gonna lift here with my legs and just slide it off like that. All right. This one out the way. This one has wheel spacers on there. I didn't know that. Let's see. Yep, and these rotors is hit. Ugh. All right, those look like, let's check, never had any wheel spacers before. Look like 19s. Okay, let's do what we gotta do, man. But yeah, yours may not have wheel spacers on it. This is new to me. Haven't had to do this job yet. Wheel shield. Okay. Sit you on the caliper for now. And yeah, these rotors is hit. Yeah, these are 19s. And let's take them off. All right, so we're gonna separate these. Oh, gotta put them back the way they came off. Didn't know it was wheel spacers on here, but all good. Make sure you all the way on your socket good. Yep. It's always one that don't want to come out. All right. I gotta look up the torque specs for these. Never had to do any wheel spacers. Some people like them. I don't really care for them, but they're on here. Hopefully they'll come right off. Might have to bang on the rotor a little bit. Spray around here, maybe not. Let's see, all those are off. And this is one of the reasons why. Oh yeah, this rotor is hit. Well, I seen that the other day. That's all off. And let's try to get this spacer off. All right. Let's get another friend. Yeah, you never know what you're gonna need. And the extra stuff you may or may not have to do, and this is always a good buddy to have around. Some BB blasters, some WD-40 or something. I'm glad I'm doing this job. These rotors are horrible. So they start to rust in the middle a lot faster, and then when you hit the brakes, it might crunch and crush, and then yeah, you get AOL. All right, put this over here, and let's try to get it again. these are built pretty well. Okay, well, they're going back on. All right. Very nice. Okay, they built well. All right, let's start tearing out these dudes. Let me set up the camera on this side where the closest is where the caliper is closest to the camera. That's what I was trying to say. But I had to get my short tripod for that. So let's get a little closer and see what's cracking. Now, this is some ugly rotors. Very, very ugly rotors. And I got some off of Amazon. And I'll show you all that here in a bit. But you see how it's starting to chip. Okay. Definitely this side is a lot thinner, and this is the stuff that happens that starts to get brittle faster. So more you hit the brakes, this is going to start crunching and it's going to squeeze, and then it might snap off. So yep, very ugly. Let's see what size caliber. Okay, we got looks like 10s right here, bam, with the light, and then these look like 18s or 21s, but 90% of the time they're 18s. So okay, top bottom, let's pull these dudes on off. All right, I'm gonna slow roll this. Haven't done too many Ram trucks, but pretty similar as other ones. So don't get discouraged when you're doing yours, just take your time. All right, so let's get back at it. These are 10 millimeters, and the rotor brackets, the rotor bolts, those are 21 millimeters. Okay, all right, so let's get it on, get it off. All right, check your wrench, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So we'll be going down, and you usually only have to smack the ratchet a little bit. Get them free. So if they come off that easy, put them back on. You don't have to have a torque wrench. You can use one, but you don't have to have one. Same thing with this one. Just kind of smack on it. Watch your hand so you don't hit up against your sway bar link. You can go up a little higher. We went in neutral. All right, get some more, get back on there. I'm gonna be moving the camera around as much as possible. I'll hit my switch again. All right, so we got those loose. Gonna back those out of there and move the caliper out the way. And let me get my speed ratchet to help assist me. Actually, the way these are coming out, I don't even need it. I'll spin these on out. This one's a little tight at the bottom, but they're coming. And these trucks got 10 millimeters, man. They're starting to get smaller and smaller. I can see at least a 13 or a 14, but a 10, really? It's a truck. So these slide all the way through. So you're gonna have to lube these up on this area here. And remember to put them back in how they came out, top, bottom. They look like the same size, but sometimes they don't like each other. All right, let's get a fat screwdriver. Press this dude over. Might be able to get a good compression. Now you got it all the way back. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. All right, caliper's pushed back, and they get it back pretty far. Not too bad. All right, get a caliper hanger. Hang this dude up for now on everybody's sight. And these are on Amazon as well. Amazon is the dudes. All right. Now these pads aren't too bad, but these rotors are hit. But let's look and see what's going on with the pads, because they don't seem to be wearing too much. And the screwdriver prime out. This one. They're going down, but they're starting to glaze. So if they're glazed like this, where you got a reflection on them, well, a shimmer on it. So yeah, they're not going to wear properly, and that's usually happening from heat. So all this was going to do was keep chipping at the rotor and gliding. Still stopping, but not like it should. And if your brake pad, your brake light comes on, either you losing some fluid. Yeah, this one's glazed as well. So you want to change those. Don't use them. All right, so like I was getting ready to say, if your brake light comes on, then either you got a brake line leak, your fluid starts to get low because your pads get low, and then once you push it back, the fluid will go back, and the level of the sensor in the reservoir, it'll go back up and your light will go off. So if your brakes are real low, then your brake light may come on, but if they're not, then they may not. Okay, just want to add that. All right, so let's get these 21s off. Give it some give it some good, man. He's on there real good, so I'm gonna probably go straight. All right, move that out the way some more. Probably gonna go with a straight breaker bar, just so I can crank it a little better and not round it. And let's try to get it off. Let's flip the socket. I got to move. And this isn't ratcheting, just a standard breaker bar. I'm gonna get my ratchet one back in a second. That's in a stuck position. Let me get up under here. Let's crank him again. Flip the socket. Come up a little higher. Hopefully. If not, we're going ratchet socket. So yeah, going back ratchet. Yep, they on there real good. It's going down. And I'm just using my body weight. All right, hoping my big head ain't in the way. Got one. And I'm pretty sure these have Loctite on them. So we're just gonna keep it up. And let's get this socket off. And it's time to take the shirt off now. Starting to warm up. It was about 50 degrees when I started. So starting to warm up, supposed to get up to 75, 80 today. So let's just switch over to the shorty. Alright, got the pads out. You see they were glazed, which is a problem. When I was younger, I didn't know too much about them. Like, oh, it's still cool, it's got some pad on it. No, this is a problem. Alright, let's go with the top. This ratchet, the ones I use, the angle ratchet, and this one, these are made by Icon from Harbor Freight, and they're real good. Good quality. Never really bothered having snap on or anything like that. Good stuff, but they're overpriced to me. Some people cool with it, but you still do the same work and not spend as much for tools. That's how you do it. Alright, these on there real good. Wasn't no ratcheting them out with an impact. Well, you can probably get an impact in there. Yep, yeah, you can. But they do have Loctite on them, so it'll take you a little bit of strength if you don't have an impact. And I don't feel like going and moving to get it, so could do the long video or the short video and cut out and oh, I'll be back. And I do that a little bit, but I try to show you stuff like this because every spin is time. And you want to take your time, but yeah, just don't rush. All right, so we got that dude out. Looks good, came out great. So now let's bash this dude on out the rest of the way. So usually take the hammer and knock around it. And start banging. locks on it. Just trying to triple check before I start banging real hard. Seeing some movement. Top, bottom. Let's go. Bottom on off. Check the parking brakes. Man, this one needs some. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, won't be doing that today. Well, just have to not use the parking brake. Now, this is my vehicle, so that's why I am not gonna mess with this right now because, yeah, I'm not gonna use the parking brake because they are gone. There's no pad on there. So no pad. This is a used vehicle picked up last year. Didn't have to do any brake work to it. But, yep, that's the issue. We got bad hardware for the parking brakes. And I will have to look that up because I usually don't have to do these. I hate drum brakes, just saying. All right, let's get back to it. This is going to be the same procedure for the passenger side. But, yep, ugly, don't like. Man, BS. All right, so now we're going to match up the rotors and the pads and make sure everything's crispy. So, yep, if yours is like this, you can take it in, get it serviced, but if you don't really use your parking brake much, just go ahead and put your pads back on. And I have never used the parking brakes on here. I don't tow a trailer, but if you have a trailer and you tow all the time, you definitely want to get these changed, okay? Definitely change those because you have a trailer and you got more weight than usual, and when that parking brake locks, it keeps it still. All right, so let me set back up. All right, so we're back. Let's clean up a little bit around in here. This light ain't doing too much up there. Let's move it in here somewhere. Maybe not. All right, not gonna worry about it. But let's clean up a little bit around us. And let's match up these rotors. What is rust? Ash to ashes, dust to dust. Back in the pan, here comes the rust. All right, got that out. We got the new rotors and the old rotor. Do a comparison real quick. They come in a bag because they put grease on them to keep them from rusting. So we're gonna look at them, mate them, and they are the same. And yeah, take them all around, take them out, and let's continue. And we're gonna match the pads up too after I get the rotor on. So I usually spray the backside first, because you're not gonna be able to because of the backing plate. So backside first. These don't have screws to lock them in or anything. So let's slide them on. All right, now we got that there. The wheel spacers were next. All right, so let me wipe these off. Hit them with some brake cleaner too. I don't think they're supposed to have anything on them. So slide these back on. Well, let's get the rotor back on too first. All right, rotor bracket, caliper bracket. Now, you can change your guide pins. I'm gonna clean these up just because they didn't come with them. It's a new kit. I think I paid like 130 bucks for the rotors and pads for both sides. So you get two. AutoZone was trying to kill us, all the local parts stores. So, yep, went this route. Take a wire brush, clean these up, and they don't look too bad. Yep, but clean them up anyway. All right. So you can do this, or you don't have to, but it takes off all that other rust and stuff that's down in there. If you don't have any new clips. And you're gonna put a little grease on these just so it'll help them glide. You can, you don't have to, but if they're rusty, I'm gonna clean these bad boys up. There we go. Looks better already. All right, let's go ahead and complete this rotor assembly. Get our caliper bolts for the bracket. Give some wiggle to the fillet seats. Got one to start. Get them started and then start working them in. And what sucks is I gotta do this same thing to the other side, and then I gotta do my front, so it don't really suck, it's just extra work. Move the camera a little better. I'm gonna block a little bit, but you seen where I've done to take it out. We're doing the same thing to put it back. And let's move some more dust out the way. Ratchets out the way. All right, let's crank. And don't tighten one all the way before you tighten the other one. Just getting them close. And like I said, they do have Loctite on them. And I'm gonna go, and then once it stops, I'm gonna go down a little. There you go. Not tighten it before the other one. Don't want to offset anything. All right. Took them off with a breaker bar, put them back on with a breaker bar. But I'm gonna look up the torque spec for this time. Okay, so after looking it up, it says 120 foot-pounds. So yeah, so that's what we're about to do. Let me get my torque wrench and crank it down for these caliper bracket bolts. But yep, that's what it's saying. So I just want to show everybody as well. For those who don't own a torque wrench, just, tight, get them on there real good and crank it a quarter turn, maybe a little more, but don't try to over tighten it too much. But I would go out, buy a torque wrench. It don't have to be expensive. Yeah, your foot-pounds on one side, and then you have your Newton meters on the other side. So yep, it's good to pick up one of these. We're going to 120, so we're gonna crank all the way up to 120. I'm trying to find my socket. Okay, there we go. And we're almost there. And you want to be zeroed out on the 120. It's 110 and zero out at the 120. All right, so we're good there. And by it being a truck, definitely want to possibly crank it if you can. If you don't have to, but yeah, definitely try. All right, and when it clicks, you're done. You're good. Almost there. Let's go up top, do the same. All right, now I'm gonna use my knee to help assist me. There we go, it's one. Let's go down here. This is when you're on the ground, okay? It's gonna be different. You gotta lift, gravy. But you don't, man, you gotta do other stuff. Go up a little bit, keep them in the socket. Get in there, baby. All right, he's on there good. Cranking with your knees. That's him, 120. Leave that set. And when you're done with your torque wrench, back it down to about 20 so the spring doesn't stay compressed and it'll still give you a correct reading. That's after you're getting ready to put it up. All right, so we know we're good there. Match the brake pads. See no glaze on these. That's the glaze, no glaze. So they're the same. Usually the inside I have a brake screamer on there and the outside won't, but this one has a brake screamer on both sides. So let me double check just to make sure, because this one might go on the passenger side, because sometimes it should only be one, but it's two. But nope, this side has them too, brake screamers. So you're gonna have brake screamers on both sides, okay? Now let's lubricate the parts that we need to. And they don't really put enough in here, but we don't use it as much as we can. I got more extra brake grease. But we're gonna glide on these. This is where they're gonna slide on. Same thing on this side, grazing a little bit. Up here, you don't have to glob it, just a little bit. And I wonder how tight these wheel spacers are. I know the trucks are like 140 foot-pounds as far as the bolts, so I think it's gonna be about the same. For these wheel spacers are a little tighter, but they're small, so yeah. Let's go all the way around, glide through a little bit, because they're only gonna get so close to the rotor. All right, so we got those there. So now let's grab one of these dudes, and we're gonna angle him in from the inside and slide it over. Sometimes you'll win on the first try, and sometimes you won't. So we got it in there. Get this one in there, and we'll need some light. So, all right, so the bracket for the rotor screamer, it goes at the bottom. And you might have to tap it over a little bit, but let's go ahead before we put those on. Get these wheel spacers back on. So I'm about to bolt those up, tighten them down to 120, 140, just to make sure. So I'm about to look up the wheel lug torque spec real quick for that, and I shall return here in a brief moment. All right, so I got them on there. Still gonna have to torque these down. When you're done, you get your wheel back on, it is 140 foot-pounds to tighten your wheel lugs. Okay, so when you're putting in your patch, you got this little lip area. That's what this here is for. You kind of bend it down, and you can get these in a lot easier. But sometimes they won't cooperate with you because of the lip on the side. This part right here. So you got to wedge these in. This part right here, and it's gonna sit in on the edge. Flip it up and then slide it over. Might be a little tedious, so just kind of work it in and take your time. All right, so now let's glaze with brake lube. We're gonna put these on the outside of the pads, keep them from squeaking, and we're gonna finish compressing the caliper over. Then after doing so, we're gonna put the wheel back on. Well, you guys will be, but I will be finding this torque spec, and it's probably the same. Oh, piece of glove. Okay, cool. Well, you died today. It means you did your job. All right. See, and they hardly put any in here, so this is only enough for a little bit. Like, man, just one pad actually. So, quit playing around. Let's get the other brake grease. Just buy it in bulk instead of one of them little $2-3 packs. This is like, well, they changed the price. It's probably about $14.99 now. They were like $10.99 when I first bought these, so I bought two. One of them lasted 2 years, and this one I just broke open. So we got those tight in the back, down the torque, and let's get our caliper. And since nobody's here, I'm probably going to get my caliper, everything set, and after I do so, I'm going to put a wooden stick and push the seat up so I can have my brake squeeze, so I can get this tight as it's supposed to be, because it's not on the ground yet. So yeah. All right, flip this over, and you can use a C-clamp or you can use a caliper tool, and whichever one works better for you. Okay, this is the old school method. I'm just showing for those who don't have those things. So here we go. Speed C-clamp. Just push him in, slide him down, and let's get him set. Right there at the top of the caliper, get the C-clamp flush, work it up, and just spin this dude. And if it's going back smooth, then it's a good caliper. If it's still not and the caliper is good, you may or may not have, well, you may have a collapsed brake hose. And some calipers leave a lip around the rim, and some of them don't. And just kind of go in slow and just wait for it to do its job. And once it stops, it stops. Don't try to cheat, because you will be putting all this back on to get it out. So now that we're done with that, let's back this up, move our old brake pad, and let's brake grease this slide a little bit. You don't have to do this part, but I do sometimes I don't. We already got the outside glazed, and we gotta get our bolts pins glazed. I do this a little bit on these parts right here. Don't hurt, and then I'll go around the caliper area a little bit like that. You don't have to, but there you go. Don't hurt too either. All right, so now let's lubricate these dudes. Just flip it back around. Make sure you flip the correct way and work it on. can get one to hold still first. I'm gonna slide through like this, and then you're gonna bolt in. So I'm trying to hold it in its place and get one to go in. And not quite there yet. So yeah, a little bit of an awkward design. Haven't had to do too many of these styles. Just resting in, rocking forward. Some smacks. There we go. Let's see if we get it to seat. And offset a little bit somewhere. So let's go down on the ground. Let's see what we got working with. Oh, this little spring clip. Let's take that back out. Let's work it in. These pins slide, so you might have to adjust these. They slide in and out, so make sure they move freely, and you should be able to get it in a little better. All right, there we go. Not quite there yet, so I'm gonna get one of them in just so I can see. All right, spring. There we go. As you go up, there we go. So, yep, you might have to work around a little bit. Get these 2 bolts in, I'll be happy. Let's do what you gotta do. This spring is kind of keeping me from getting it on. I think I got one. Yep, got one. And this one should be going too. Yep, this spring right here, you got one down here, one right here. You're gonna have to hold it and see how it still flexes back. But yep, you're gonna have to hold it and then work it on. So we're going now. And I'm hand tightening as much as I can, just enough to make sure I don't cross thread. Now I'm about to come out and get the ratchet. All right, a little longer than most brakes and rotors because of the extra little stuff. And let's get it on there, right tighty lefty loosey. You're not gonna be able to see me, but you should know where we're at. You might see me a little bit. I know my head's blocking. Don't tighten it all the way before you do the other one. And like I said, this will be the same process for the passenger side. Now he's tight. Let's go back down and smack it until the wrench starts to bounce. We got it off by hand. You can use a torque wrench, or you can put it on back by hand. But as soon as this starts to bounce, you're tight enough. Same thing. Hand, getting tight, and smacking, and if it's bouncing back, then you're good. So this would be the procedure on changing the rear brake pads and the rotors for the 2009, I believe, to 18. Just look it up for yourself. But yep, got him tight. About to look up these torque specs for these so I can get the wheel lugs back on. But yep, this would be the procedure. So man, please subscribe to the channel. It's free, don't hurt nothing. It just helps build, my channel, helps me help you come up with other stuff like that. So the only thing I didn't do last was hit the brake caliper, well, the brake rotor, and there we go. So that would be the procedure on the rear. And until the next video, guys, live life, love it. Always know rest of the Indy on these things. Boy, you can tell it is today. But yep, to the next one, guys, live life, love it, and I'm out of here.